Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Mifflin, the president of the Illinois Defense Council this year. I'm also a member of the Legislative Committee. I'm here to just give you a little update on what's going on in the legislature and where we expect to go from here. The legislature is just gearing up now for the 2017 session that began in January, but the committee hearings are now hot and heavy in both the House and the Senate. The deadlines for the Senate to pass its bills out of committee is March 17th, and the deadline for the House to pass its bills out of committee is March 31st. So there are committee hearings every week now. The House and the Senate are both in session the remainder of March, and the bills that survive those deadlines will be the ones that will primarily be the ones that will be considered into the session, which is scheduled to end at the end of May. Most efforts in the legislature, as you might have read, are directed at the budget mess in Illinois and the taxes that are going to be needed to address that and the related issues that come with those. Governor Rauner is attempting to interject additional issues, substantive issues, into the budget negotiations, and the Democrats are resisting that and saying that he's holding the budget hostage in exchange for some of his projects that he wants. So there is a big standoff, particularly between Speaker Madigan and Governor Rauner. Speaker Madigan of the Democrat from Chicago in the House, and Governor Rauner, who's a Republican. So there's a big standstill right now. We are following, the Illinois Defense Council are following those issues in the legislature, particularly the ones that may potentially involve the Illinois Defense Council. Work comp is a big component of the discussions about the grand bargain, they're calling it, that may take place here, because Governor Rauner has insisted upon work comp reform as an element of this bargain, which would include the budget and taxes and the issues which the Democrats are more interested in. So we are watching work comp particularly. There are a lot of ideas being thrown out there with reference to work comp, and it's hard to tell which of those are going to stick. The two that come to my mind immediately are causation, and the business community wants to establish a more strict causation bill to be included in the Work Comp Act before there can be liability. Or medical controls are also big for the business community, so that the medical costs aren't so high and don't contribute so much to the system. We are watching those carefully. There's no telling what's going to happen with those yet, if anything's going to happen with them, but we have been involved with those and we will continue to be. The other issues of interest involve a lot of tort bills which have been introduced. Most of those bills are introduced by Republicans. They're tort reform bills, and they will be or have been referred to subcommittees, which probably means that they won't be called. They could be resurrected by the end of the session in May, but I think that's unlikely at this time unless something different comes up, like the governor interjects them into this grand bargain discussion. One of the tort bills which has been introduced, which has been sent to a subcommittee, is a bill that was proposed by the Illinois Defense Council, and we asked Senator Christine Radogno, a Republican from Lamont, Illinois, to sponsor it. It deals with joint and several liability, and particularly who is left on the verdict form for the defendants. Everybody is left on the verdict form for the defendants, just like for the plaintiffs. And not to tell the jury that if they find the plaintiff 51% at fault, that there's no recovery by the plaintiff. Let the jury determine the facts and the court apply the law. We think that's a good goose in the gander bill that would treat the defendants the same as the plaintiffs are treated. But that bill has already been sent to subcommittee, so it will only be resurrected if special effort is made later on. Some other bills which are in subcommittee, which we were particularly interested in, are other tort reform efforts by Senator Jill Tracy. Those are Senate Bills 720 through 728, and they deal with subjects like venue, products liability, and some of the other tort reforms which were attempted before in the 90s, but which were declared unconstitutional in the best case. So those are probably not likely to be pursued unless something dramatic happens in the negotiations before the end of May. There are a variety of bills. I can just give you some examples here. There is a bill which has been introduced to reinstate or codify the public duty rule, which the Supreme Court eliminated regarding liability for police and fire, for example, in dealing with emergencies. If the court allowed a lawsuit to proceed against a fireman or fire company that had been late getting to a fire. House Bill 2715 is also a bill that the IDC is opposed to. That deals with adverse witnesses and would make it easier to be declared an adverse witness, which could have significant impact on deposition testimony or trial testimony by people who had previously been associated with a defendant, whereas now you have to be truly an adverse witness because of your association with the client. It would broaden that, the standard for that. Another bill that we're opposed to is House Bill 2703, which would eliminate the Freedom of Information Act exemption for insurance companies' claims and reserves and financial information. We think that this has the opportunity to be abused by the plaintiffs and the trial lawyers because of the availability of that financial information would give them a leg up on evaluating the cases, at least how we evaluate our cases. So we're opposed to that. There are a number of other bills that we're watching right now that won't be sorted out until the end of March, like I said, when the bills get sent out of committee or they presumably die in committee. The link to the IDC website dealing with the Legislative Watch is included with this video, and it's also on the homepage of the IDC website. So take a look there. If you have any questions about any of these bills, there's a variety of other bills that are listed there, which we are following, and the Legislative Committee is meeting weekly now to discuss the progress with these and other topics that have come up. So we are on it, we are watching them, and we will continue to do that, and we will keep the website updated. And certainly if you have any thoughts or suggestions for us, please don't hesitate to let us know that. One more thing too, we have a legislative day every year in Springfield. That legislative day this year is going to be April 5th, and there's a reception at the Sangamo Club in Springfield, which is just like a block and a half from the Capitol building. We invite all the legislators and the local judges from the Springfield area to come, and we meet with them at 5 o'clock at night at the Sangamo Club, and it usually lasts a couple hours, and it gives you a great opportunity to come and talk to your legislator or talk to the judges, the local judges. So we would encourage all of you to come. That information is on the IDC website also for the legislative day. So if you have any questions, give us a call. We will continue to update the website, and we'll update this video from time to time as the legislature progresses. Thank you very much.